there is no particular process when you're going through, when you're talking about a small company and you're going through a layoff or a furlough, really just the big points to keep in mind, which some of these are just not legal points at all, but it's just how do you want to go about doing it? In this current climate, there's been a lot of chatter about how do I do it when I'm not in person with anyone. And this may seem like a very basic thing, but we've had to tell people, make sure you're not doing this on email. Get on a Zoom call or get on a phone call at a minimum if you do need to make these tough decisions, and just think about how you want this to play out down the line. And one of a business expert that we sometimes look to and work with, he recently spoke on this topic and made comments that, you want to think of it as, what if your grown child was calling you to explain what happened to them when they got furloughed or laid off, and how would they describe the process? And would you as a parent say, well, that's a horrible experience, but it sounds like they really handled it the right way. And, kind of thinking through your process in that respect, which again is not legal advice, but it's just thinking through how you're going to do this to provide the softest landing you can, and, create the culture and climate that you're trying to keep in this really difficult time. But as far as legal considerations, when you're talking about a furlough, I mentioned, the biggest thing, if you're furloughing and not laying somebody off, is just making sure they know that they really cannot work during this time period. Because I think people think when they're furloughed, I'm not working because the company needs to save on, dollars, but I still expect to get my job back. So, I'm going to still reply to these emails and handle a few things. You do not want that to happen, and you need to, on the company side, make sure that does not happen. The other big question is, do they get unemployment if they're furloughed versus laid off? And in both scenarios, yes. This is very state specific, and it's state by state as far as how much unemployment you can get. But almost every state is dealing with, these massive requests, overloading their systems for unemployment, and many states have taken action and issued emergency rules to expand unemployment options, make sure unemployment is available quicker, those kinds of things. So you just, you're not required to let them know that they can apply for unemployment, but that's something that is usually what employers want to do. They want to provide some information to their workforce. And then just give them a way to stay updated on the company. If you're thinking about, just trying to get through the next couple months, and then you want to be back up and running, or that's your hope or plan, or, your projections say that, that's likely to happen. You just want to be able to communicate with your workforce down the line and give them some sense of, when you will be checking back in and giving them an update on that. So the difference between furloughing and laying off is really just whether you think this is short-term or whether you think this is long-term. But that's again, a business decision. And really, there's not a legal question in there as far as what to do.